All right, so we'll start on our back. And we'll just do, well, flat on our back to begin with. And I want you to feel how your back feels on the floor. Go ahead and lie down on your back. Legs stretched out.
Oh.
Take a moment to allow your body to feel supported on the floor. Notice how your shoulder blades are touching the floor. Does the right shoulder blade feel the same as your left? And you allow your head to be heavy. How is the curve of your neck? Notice if it feels like there's too much of a curve in your neck. Just notice for now. Meaning that the floor feels too far. And you have to bend your neck to and bring your chin up in order for the back of your head to reach the floor. So that's something to notice. Then your arms, your wrists, the backs of your hands. Do they feel the same, your right side and the left side? Do they feel different? How's your middle back, your lower back, your hips, your thighs, your knees, your ankles, your toes, and the soles of your feet. Now, how's your forehead? Does it feel scrunched up or intense? See if you can release the skin across your forehead. Let it melt down your tongue. How's your jaw and your tongue? And finally, how's your breath flowing this morning? Can you feel the three-dimensional expansion through the rib cage, through your body? And then the gentle hugging in on the exhale. And then extension on the inhale, nice and gentle and long. And then exhaling and gently hugging. Now bend your knees and roll onto your side and press yourself up. And we'll take our therapy balls. They'll stay in their tote. And you'll take your book or your block and we'll place it under our head. And then the balls will go just on top like this. Right here. So if this, right away, if you find that this feels a little bit too intense, sometimes when there's tons of tension in the neck, that might feel intense. You may choose to put a blanket over the balls, like one layer of blanket over the balls. And then from your side, if you're using a book and it's slippery, so maybe put one layer of blanket over the book so there's some traction, right? And your knees here, and just see what it feels like to have the balls under the base of your head. You can gently sort of jiggle your head side to side, nice and gentle, like you're saying no.
Oh, that feels good.
Make sure your chin is slightly tucked in, right? So we're not pointing the chin up and behind us, it's gently tucked into the chest. And notice how the right side feels on the left side of your neck. And then do gentle nods like you're saying yes. And then turn your head to the right slightly, maybe 45 degrees, and feel how there's more weight on the right ball right now. You feel it's pressing up into that sort of bumpy protrusion on the base of your skull. And do a gentle circle, like your nose is drawing a circle in front of you. Nice and small. Just feel how you're transferring weight from your skull over the ball when you do that. Switch the direction of the circle, go the opposite way. Breathing through the nose, allowing the body to stay heavy. Come back to center, and then turn your head ever so slightly to the left. Keep tucking the chin in. So feel how there is more pressure on the left ball now, and onto the left side of your skull. And we'll do the same here. So tiny little circles, like your nose is an arrow on a face of a clock. And you're gently tracing 12, 3, 6, 9, back to 12. And then go in the opposite direction. And come back to center, and then let's do no again, gently. And then we'll do yes, gently. And now settle in the middle, and see if you can push through your feet, and that will sort of send a jiggle all the way through the body. And you will be massaging the base of your skull by jiggling, sort of shifting your body back and forth. I'm just pressing my feet into the floor and letting it go. Push, let go, push, let go. Mm-hmm. Can you see? Yeah. And that's how the lower back look when you're doing that. When you're pushing gently, push, let go.
Good.
Gentle jiggles. Nice. And then settle. Find some stillness. Take a moment here. Take a few breaths. Nice. And now we'll roll off onto the side, off your balls. Move the block or the book off to the side and come back onto your back and just see how your neck feels now. Does the floor feel just as far, or does it feel like it's a little bit closer? Does the neck feel longer? Maybe move your head side to side. If the floor still feels quite far, add a blanket, not too high, but so that the floor doesn't feel quite as far. Just under the head. Keep your chin tucked in. Now see if you can bring the back of your head up 2 inches from the floor. Keep tucking the chin in. And slowly, slowly, slowly release your head back onto the floor of the blanket. I think most of us will need a little bit of height under the head. Inhale into the belly. As you start exhaling, lift the head up. Keep tucking the chin in, the neck stays long. Notice if your lower back has flattened into the ground. So try to keep that curve to the lower back going neutral, and then slowly bring the head back down. Relax. Inhale into the belly. As you exhale, make sure you're tucking the chin in and you're lifting the head up. And then slowly back down. Keep tucking the chin in. Beautiful. Relax. Gently sway your head side to side. I just noticed that there was a ton of tension from my mid back. So try, if you have that as well, try to release that towards the floor. Come back to center. Now looking 45 degrees to the right, so you can see your right shoulder out of the corner of your right eye. Tuck the chin in. Now lift the head up 2 inches. And then slowly, slowly keep the neck long, release down. Inhale into the belly. Make sure the mid back is soft and heavy on the floor. As you exhale, lifting the head up, tucking the chin in. And then slowly down. One last time. Inhale into the belly, nothing changes through your spine. As you exhale, you'll lift your head up. And then slowly down. Beautiful, come back to center, move your head side to side a couple times. And your breath again, flowing in and out. You've lost it. Now turning your head ever so slightly to the left, so you can see the left shoulder out of the corner of your left eye. Tuck the chin in. Inhale into the belly without changing the shape of your spine. As you exhale, lifting the head up 2 inches. Keep tucking the chin in. And then slowly. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, lifting the head up. And then slowly. One more time. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, lift the head up. Notice if the side feels different from the other side. Is it easier or more difficult? And slowly down. Come back to center. And then head side to side. Let's roll onto your side so you can see the screen. So taking a moment on the side here. So look down and see if you can move your knees back a little bit. But if your lower back starts feeling like there's too much sort of curve going on, only go to where you can still keep your neutral. So meaning that your ribs and your pelvis are sort of on the same plane. It doesn't feel like you're going to the back bend. So with your top arm, sort of hug the side of your head, holding into your bottom ear, so the elbow is pointing out. Yeah. The knees are stacked. So now see if you can inhale into the belly again. As you exhale, wait for that sensation of gentle bracing through the core, through the front of your abdominal wall, and then lift your top heel and your elbow towards each other. Feel how it's shrinking the top side of your body and sort of lengthening the bottom. And then slowly, slowly down. Inhale here. As you exhale, feel for that sensation of bracing through the side, through the front, lifting the elbow to your heel, keeping these together. And then slowly back down. Inhale. And as you exhale, lifting the elbow and the heel. Feel it shrinking to the side. Stay in this one plane. Notice if you go into the butt bend. And slowly release. Beautiful. Now bring your top arm down, make a fist. Now lift just the head up. Now reach your fist towards your top heel. Then slowly bring your head down. Feel that stretch to the side of your neck. Inhale. As you exhale, lifting the head up. Reach the fist towards the heel. Keep reaching the fist towards the heel as you start lowering your head down. Notice the sensation of lengthening to the side of your neck. Tucking the chin in slightly. One last time. Lift the head up. And then slowly down. Beautiful. Okay, now straighten your top leg and gently, slightly reach it behind you. So you like you're taking a step back with your, it's my left leg. I'm not sure if they're all on the same side, but the top leg. Flex the foot like you're standing on the floor. And then reach your top arm on the diagonal forward and try to sort of create a diagonal from your fingertips to the heel of your top leg. Sort of a full body stretch. And then see how far back do you want to reach your top leg to find that diagonal from the fingertips to your heel. Beautiful, and bring it all back to center. Now we'll reach the top leg forward, pull the toes in, and we'll reach the top arm slightly back, up and over your head and slightly back behind us. Find a diagonal in this direction, from the heel to the fingertips. Pretend you're holding a big dog on a leash, so we don't want to have that shoulder sort of pop out and drop behind us. We'll keep snuggling it back into the joint. Nice, and then bring the leg and arm back to center. And then push yourself up. What would you see? Nice, and we'll switch sides. Okay. So have your blanket there. Whenever I press my earbud into the blanket, I think that's when we hear some static and some noises, so hopefully it's doable and bearable for you. Look down at your knees, see if they're too much in the front. See if you can send them back a little bit, so your knees and your hips and your shoulders are roughly in the same line. So now the top arm goes around your head, you're holding onto your bottom ear, elbows pointing up. So make sure it doesn't feel like you're in a back bend, right? So if you touch your hip bone in the front with your pinky and your bottom ribs with your thumb, right? You should be able to reach them. So it's not too long here and not too short. So inhale into the belly. As you exhale, wait for that bracing sensation and the shrinking through the top side of the body, lifting your heel and your elbow towards each other. Keep your knees together. And slowly down. In right here. As you exhale, lifting the hip to the elbow. Feel it shrinking to the side. And then slowly down. Flex your feet. Inhale. As you exhale, maybe make a gentle hissing sound through the back of your throat. See if your breath will give you a bit more support. And then back down. And one more time. Inhale. And as you exhale, lifting the heel and the elbow. And then come back to center. Straighten your top leg and extend it behind you. Your top arm forward. Maybe you want to reach towards the floor. Maybe you will floating if it feels better for your shoulder. So now start reaching your top leg back as far as it feels comfortable for you without letting your sort of core go here, right? So keep reaching the bottom ribs to your the front of your hip. Find that diagonal stretch. And then slowly bring your arm and leg back. The top leg reaches forward, flex the toes, and the foot arm reaches up and over, and then slightly back behind you. Make sure your neck is comfortable. Flexing your top leg, your top foot. Keep your core contained so you're not just swelling open and that's the top shoulder snuggling back into the joint. Beautiful. And then bring that arm back to center and push yourself up. But before we go for our shoulder and hip circles, I want to find the sensation of tucking the shoulder blade into the pocket, right? We'll sort of isolate it so we can find it in other shapes. We'll have to be sitting over our heels like this. If you know that this is not something that's readily available, if your knees complain or the top of your foot doesn't feel comfortable here, so what you can do, you can take your blanket and you can roll the back part like this. So your knees will be here, and then this rolled up part will be supporting the top of your foot, right? So if there's not enough room through the ankle, so this will give you a little bit more. So once you're in your blanket, maybe it feels like the floor is too far down. So put your hands down, and if it feels like it's kind of, you can't really reach it because you're now on the blanket, right? You can use 2 blocks or 2 thick books so you can comfortably reach it with your hands. I'll be on the floor. Okay. So I want us in this sort of shape. Hands just in front of the knees, okay? So here, I want you to think of collapsing towards the floor through the chest. So Gordon, can you bring your hips back to your heels? Is that okay? Your knees okay? Yeah? And bring your hands a bit closer to your knees, yeah? There you go. So now sort of collapse the chest towards the floor and feel how your upper back feels narrower. Now gently push into the floor, broadening your upper back. The elbows stay straight for this. Yeah. Feel how much more space you sort of have through the front of the chest as well. So again, release your chest down. Feel how the upper back becomes narrower. And then pushing gently, widening across your mid back. So keep pushing through your hands. Feel that widening across your upper back. Now look at your elbow pits. Notice if they're pointing towards one another. So can you, without moving your hands, move the elbow pits towards forward, right? If you're facing the screen, towards the screen. So this part of your elbow. Then release the elbows again, so out to the side. The fingers are pointing forward, and then you see if you can move the elbow pits. So it's the upper arm that has to rotate in order for the elbow pit to look forward. And then take a break, release. It's tricky, right? And again, rotate the eye of the elbow forward. Check in with your upper back. Does it still feel broad? So from there, pretend you're pulling the floor towards you through your fingertips, like you're doing this on the floor, right? You're pulling the floor towards you through your hands while rotating the eye of the elbow forward. And then notice how it's activating, like all of this below the shoulder blade and the side body. And then relax, take a break. It's a lot of work, right? Mm-hmm. So we're gonna add one more piece to this puzzle. So rounding through the hands, spread your fingers nice and wide. The thumbs are pointing towards one another. Start broadening across the upper back. Start rotating the upper arm so the eye of the elbow is pointing forward. Start pulling the floor towards you, like you're sucking the floor in towards your knees with your hands, right? From there, see if you can bend the elbows back. And then you push through your hands and you straighten the elbows back up, back out. So if you look at me through the side, from the side. So relax for a second. Now broaden across the upper back. Rotate the eye of the elbow forward. Start pulling the floor towards you. Now bending the elbows back. And then really, really push through your hands to straighten your elbows. We'll do it a few times. Keep pushing through your hands. Bending the elbows back. Broad across the upper back. Push through your hands. Straighten your elbows. I'm shaking like crazy here. Bending the elbows back. Eyes of the elbows are pointing forward. And then push with the hands. Nice. And then to relax, collapse the chest towards the floor. And then push. Broaden. Nice and slow. Collapse. And then push. Broaden across the shoulders. See how it's the shoulder blades that are moving on my spine? The shape of the spine remains the same, right? It's the shoulder blades. In. And out. So push the floor away. Now pretend you're pulling the floor towards you again. So find that sensation of, all this part is getting online. Pull, 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 pull. One last time. Elbows are, the eyes of the elbows are pointing forward. Bend. And then pushing through your hands. Straighten the elbows. Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Okay. Now let's make our way onto our side. I know, right? Focus work. So much effort, but hopefully now you have way more awareness, through the size of your mid-back, just above your waistline and below the shoulder blades. So we'll go into our side again. So have your therapy balls or your jar of honey. We'll do some shoulder circles. So curl onto your side, make sure the blanket is just the right height for you. So take your ball, reach it up, and then start rotating at the root of the arm. You can have something between your knees if your hips feel better when there's a bit of a, when your thighs are parallel to each other rather than sort of collapsing. Rotate. See if you can keep your mind's eye in that area underneath your shoulder blade and through your waistline on the top side. Right? Then you gently pull the shoulder blade towards your back pocket, right? Like you just now were on your knees and hand, and you're pulling the floor towards you, towards the knees. So find that activation to the side, that same activation. Keep rotating your arm at the root. Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to reach the arm down, rotate it in, Internal rotation, so the ball is pointing back. You're going to reach the arm back. Keep tucking the shoulder blade into the back pocket. Notice if the ribs want to pop up here. So try to have that cylindrical shape for your torso. Keep reaching the arm back. When it doesn't go any further back, that's when you rotate, open the arm bit up towards the sky. Keep your elbow straight. Up and over. Beautiful. You can hold on to your shoulder blade, the side of the body, with your fingertips of the opposite hand, and sort of encourage that part to stay engaged. Reach the arm back, internal rotation, and then open the arm bit up towards the sky, up and over. And one last time. Reach back. Rotate. Up and over. Beautiful. So the ball will go into the top knee. We're right here, so we might as well do the hip circle. So engage through the core. So our legs and the arms are attached to the core, right? And whenever we move the limbs, the arms and the legs, the core has to stabilize for us to allow that for that movement in the hips and in the shoulders, right? So the side of the body participates, right? The core is not just the front or the back, it's the side that we just activated, right? So squeeze the ball inside the top knee. Maybe anchor yourself with your fingertips just in front of you. Reach the thigh back. Then the knee goes up, it goes down. Beautiful. 2 more circles at your own pace. Stay really mindful of your core. Keep engaging through the side of the body, through the front. With the back, the pelvis stays still. We're moving at the hip. Move the bottom thigh into the floor. Or maybe you have one more circle in there. It's not about the number of reps, it's about the quality of your reps. Maybe when one, very mindful, very slow, you'll do enough here. Next, take the ball out, and yourself back. And push yourself up. Okay. Were you able to use the side body a little bit more for the shoulder circles and for the hip circles? Yeah? Okay, let's switch over to the other side. Okay, find your core. Your ribs are stacked on top of your pelvis, so you find that cylindrical shape through the torso. Reach the arm up. So find that tucking of the shoulder blade into the back pocket. Notice you're still breathing. So that tucking in doesn't mean that we have to hold our breath and not move through the ribs. We're still expanding, but you know, the side of the body is online. You're aware of it. If I let go, my shoulder kind of collapses. This is all soft. And then I tuck it into the back pocket. And then I can really access the rotation of the shoulder. It's the shoulder that's the root of the arm that's rotating inside the shoulder blade there. Rotate in and out. See how this side feels compared to the other side. Squeezing the ball. Letting the arm down. Rotate in. So internal rotation, reach back. Engage through the core. With the side of the body, the shoulder blade is tucked into the back pocket. Reach as far back as you can. Then rotate. Rotate and keep moving the arm around in space, up and over. Nice and slow. Beautiful. You can use the fingertips of your other hand to hold into the side of your body. Just keep encouraging that gentle engagement there. Reach back, internal rotation. Open the armpit up towards the sky. Up and over. And last circle. Rotate in. Reach back. Armpit opens. Over. Nice. Now we're gonna squeeze the ball inside the top knee. I think my voice, I've forgotten I'm teaching, so I might have to run downstairs in a second. Just squeeze the ball inside the top knee. Anchor your fingers into the floor in front of you. Now we're gonna reach the thigh back, keep squeezing the ball. Glue the bottom thigh into the floor as you start bringing the knee up or down. Complete the circle. Notice how this hip is going. Reach back, the pelvis stays right on the side, doesn't tip back. Knee up or down. And one last circle. Keep flexing the foot so the back of your leg is engaged the whole time. Beautiful. Take the foot out, keep this on the top. Lovely. And now let's press ourselves up. Before we get to standing, let's just roll out our calves. We'll do a bit more balancing at the end of the class like we did on Tuesday. But let's add the roll out for the calves. See if it makes a difference in our balance. So sit on your blanket so there's a little bit of height underneath your pelvis. Find your book or your block. And then we'll place the balls like this, and then the calf on top of it. You can lean back, use your hands here. Try to keep that neutral curvature in your spine, right? You're not collapsing into the lower back. And then start rolling up and down. If you found a spot that feels tender, intense, stay there and then flex and point your foot a few times. Try circle. When you go for a circle at your ankle, see that the knee is not moving, right? Sometimes when we move at the ankle, the entire leg is moving. So the movement is not happening at the ankle, actually. So then we stay still. Nice slow rotations at the ankle. If you want to lower it a little bit more, you can cross your ankles like this and then keep rotating. I know, yeah. And then roll it out again. So push yourself up onto your hands. You can use your fists. Oh, crazy, eh? Some of the spots. Nice. Then we'll do the other side. First roll out, find, do your check in, find the spots that feel tense, gripping, and then settle over that spot. Let's start pointing and flexing. Maybe you want to lower it a little bit more. And then try a circle. Again, the knee stays nice and still, and see how much movement is available in the ankle. Go the opposite way. Nice. And then roll it out. Beautiful. Okay. Now let's make our way up. So you can go to your knees, tuck your toes under, maybe go up like this. So the variation that I like is I sort of come onto the hands and then I push my hands into the thighs and I push myself up. Okay, so what it feels like to be standing up. So I should have told you to roll up your blanket for our calf stretch. So let's see if we can bend the knees and hinge, right? Reach for your blanket. Roll the blanket up. If you have a half dome, you can use a half dome for your calf stretch. We'll do the calf stretch. So half dome is something like this. Right? So let's place our left foot on top of the blanket. The heel is down on the floor. So have your right leg behind you. And then move your hips back and forth here and see the difference. Try to find that vertical line here. Right? So I'm going to turn that side to the screen so you can see. So see how if my hips are here, the leg bone is like this. Right? So the idea is to move the hips forward, so we're finding that vertical line here. And your other leg might be slightly behind you if this already feels like a ton of stretch for the calf. Okay? So if this is plenty, stay there. And see if you can pulse the knee a few times. So bending and straightening. If you can take a step forward with your other foot to have the feet parallel or maybe even slightly. The right will move slightly ahead of your left. And then keep pulsing. So when you're here, notice if this wants to happen all the time. See how it's shortening my lower back when I do that? To keep lengthening through the lower back here. Pulsing the knee. Press into the outer side of your foot a little bit more. What tends to happen here, when we pulse the knee, the knee wants to do this, right? So we want to traction the knee forward. And for that, I really need to use the outer side of my foot and pressing it actively into the half dome. If you're on your blanket, it looks exactly the same. And you can decide how high you want the blanket to be, right? So straighten the knee now and try to make the ball of your foot lighter on your blanket, as though you're taking your foot off your gas pedal. It won't happen, but you'll feel a lot of activation through the shin there and through the crease of your ankle. Nice. So stand on your right, extend your left leg behind you, curl the toes under, use the wall if you need to. Yeah. So again, see if this is happening, right? The bone is moving. See if you can back up your hips so that line is vertical. If you need a blanket under your toes, by all means, if the floor feels too hard. Massaging the top of your foot with your standing leg completely vertical. Beautiful. Okay, step forward. Let's do the other side. So right foot on a blanket or the half dome, heel on the ground, and this side might feel different, so just take note of that. I'll turn this way so you see this side. Again, it's very subtle. To feel it, just gently move your hips back. Go forward too much here, so it's now like this, and find that vertical arrangement. And then decide if you can have your feet parallel to each other, or maybe even take that left foot slightly forward. Yeah. And then start pulsing the knee. Slowly, nothing else moves in the body, right? If you were looking at me from the waist up, if you could see my face. Maybe through your shin, maybe deeper through the calf muscle. Do you feel like the stretch is moving closer to the bone? Straighten the leg, and now try to make the ball of your right foot lighter on your support, without changing anything for the core, for the lower back, and then put it down. And again, try to make it light again. If you're taking your foot off your gas pedal, nothing else changes. And then push it down. Next, standing on your left, extend your right behind you. I'll go this way. Tuck the toes under, and again, very subtle adjustments. See what it feels like. Find that vertical leg, and then see if you can rotate the leg from the root down, in and out. Very nice. Great. Step back. So stand on your right, shake out your left. Stand on your left, shake out your right. Now find your book or your block. Just put it right in front of you. So on Tuesday, we did this variation of this sort of hip centering and stabilizing move, right? So we'll try a different variation. And I hope you can see how these are the same things, slightly different, but we're looking for the same sensation of keeping that hip really centered, the leg bone really centered inside the hip joint. So let's place, I'll give you a mirror reflection so it's easier for you. Your left foot on your support. And it's just slightly in front of you like this. Yeah. So put your foot up on that support. And if you look at me from the side, I can do this, right? And that's how we end up most of the time. Maybe do this, don't overdo it. I think I overdid it on Tuesday. I felt it in my back when I was showing it to you, exaggerating a little bit. Very subtle. And then shift it back. Feel the difference, right? So this is my leg bone. It's moving like this. So if this is my hip socket, right? See how it's kind of, the bone is pushing into the front part of the socket. And when I shift my hips back, I find a vertical leg. Now my hip socket is right over like this. So feel that in this plane. Stay there. So now another option here is to go that way. And see how The leg bone moves, right? Now pull it in so it's vertical. Very subtle. Notice if you lost the spleen, right? Okay, so let's let it go out to the side, so it's like this. Pull it in. Let it out to the side. Nice and subtle. Pull it in. So keep pulling it in. Make sure it's vertical in the spleen as well, right? So stay there, keep hugging. That's what I call hug it in. So now see if you can lift your other foot off your support 1 inch, right? Without losing that centering, right? The leg bone is right inside your hip joint. Stay there. Beautiful. 4, 3, keep hugging it in. 2, and 1, and put it down. Lots of work, right? So let it out to the side. It's more like this. Pull it in. Make sure. So another way to feel it is like the bum cheek sort of rests on the back of your thigh. And you create some space there. And now float your other foot up. Keep hugging the skin. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Step off, stand on the right, shake out that left side. Oh, I mean, you're doing the right, so stand on the left, shake out the right. And let's switch. Ooh, I feel a lot of activation all around there. So placing your right foot on your support, your left leg is on the ground. So find those subtle movements. Feel how the bone goes sort of out a little bit, pushing to the edge of your hip joint, and then you bringing it back under. Out, under. Now notice, so when you do that, when you send it out to the side, your bum cheek is resting on the back of your thigh. So when you pull it in, make sure you're not doing it like this. That still has space there. Out and in. Out and in. Space to the back. Start grounding through that leg, through that foot, and then see if you can float your right foot off your support. Nothing changes for the rest of the body. Keep grounding through your left foot, through your left leg. Feel that leg bone right inside the hip joint. Beautiful, and then let go, relax. And then one more time. So pull it in, hug it in. Rounding through your left foot, floating the right. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Sit down, stand on your right, shake out to the left. Now widen your stance, put your hands on your hips. Shift your weight onto your left leg. Now see if you can go for a nice juicy circle over the left side only. The spine stays in neutral, so it's like we're hinging, right? Try to keep the weight over the left leg only. Switch the direction, go the opposite way. And your circle might look really small, which is totally fine. Keep finding the hinge to the front. Maybe put one hand on your belly, one hand on your lower back, and see that there's no movement there. We're not changing shape through the abdominal wall, through your back. We're sort of rotating over the hip. Come back to center. Shift your weight to the other side. Okay. And then keep the weight on that hip. And do a circle here. And then go the opposite way. Beautiful. And back to center. Nice. And now just for the very last bit, we're gonna, if you have your wall there, I just want you to come up to your wall and reach your right arm nice and high. Keep your hand, your left hand on your ribs, invite them to stay down, but keep crawling up the wall with your right fingertips. See if you can find lots of links through your right fingertips all the way to your right heel. Keep crawling up the wall with your fingertips. Ribs down. Bubble dust here. Maybe crawl your fingers out to the side. 45 degrees, stay there, but keep crawling them up. Like you're reaching the fingertips up and high. And then walk them back. Center, bring the arm down. Now the left fingertips scroll up the wall. Your right hand is resting on your ribcage on the left side. Keep reaching the fingertips up. Keep crawling up the wall with the left side. Up, up, up. The ribs stay down. And then the fingertips are walking slowly to the left, but they keep reaching up and away from the armpit. The ribs stay down. Beautiful. You feel the stretch from the fingertips all the way into the left heel. And then slowly bring them back to center, and then release your arm down. Nice. And then shake it all out. At least you didn't have a wall there that you can crawl up. No. Okay. Wonderful. So if you feel like resting on the floor, we're out of time. Please do that. You know, maybe you want to use the balls underneath to cradle the base of your head like we did in the beginning. If you have to go about your day, do so. If you have questions, you're welcome to ask them. Otherwise, I'll see you next week with your resistance band.